four, three, two, one.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the South-afrifur Pawdcast. My name is Conrad Albert, and what am I talking about? My name is also Ivic Wolf. With us today we have Toumal, the orca. Yes, anybody check me out on Facebook? That's great.
Shut up before you do any more damage, okay?
Nope, never. Tonight we have Toumal on from who originally started Yifstar back in 2002, recently, or not recently, well, 6 years ago, recently relatively. Also working on and collaborated on the website SoFurry. Those of you who know SoFurry or use SoFurry, this is the man who started it all. And obviously joining us today is Scratch, our co-host.
Yo.
Anpu still not being able to join us yet, although I did mention, or I did actually speak to him yesterday, he's working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so welcome Toumal. Thank you for being on the podcast with us.
Yeah, hi.
Thanks for having me.
So we're gonna sort of semi-fall right into it. What exactly is it like, sort of having a, or at least working on a sort of furry content website? I mean, like, what kind of trials, tribulations would you normally sort of expect on a daily basis?
Well, I honestly, it's still a lot of fun, and I'm really grateful for that. I know a lot of people get stressed out of, their projects basically when they reach a certain size, a certain mass. The big thing for me is really that I'm not alone doing this, and I'm not the, I might be one of the public faces, but I'm not the only guy working on the site, developing, moderating, and all that. So there's really a large team, which I'm really grateful for. That helps just keeping the site running, and that wasn't always like this.
Okay.
Was it just a one-man operation in the beginning, or?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, for quite a few years. I think until 2007, 2008.
Yeesh. That's quite a long time to be running something like that on your own. How do you, like, let's say, manage hosting costs? Is anything, or at least how did you manage hosting costs back then? I mean, I'm pretty sure advertising wasn't as much of an option back then.
Okay, yes. Initially it was just one server, first at home and then hosted elsewhere. So that wasn't too bad. Then I got help by a guy called Keiko Orca.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really grateful for him. Because he basically hosted Yifstar and the beginnings of SoFurry for quite some time, and without him, this also wouldn't have been possible. So he took a lot of the hosting cost away from Yifstar back in the day, and also SoFurry. And when SoFurry 2.0 came along, at a certain point, Dr. Zeno joined us, and Dr. Zeno is working on networks and data centers for a living, and he provides us with hardware, with hosting, with his expertise. And quite frankly, if it wasn't for him, then SoFurry wouldn't exist at this point.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I can ask, like, Yifstar, just sort of, why did it go through the name change, or did it go down, or what was the reason for Yifstar sort of fading away and becoming SoFurry?
Sure. The thing with Yifstar is that, initially it was just meant to be a story archive. It was meant to be an adult story archive.
Mm-hmm.
And that was great and all, but then we started doing artwork when we really started noticing that a lot of people are not really comfortable with uploading stuff to a site that has a certain name. Let's put it this way.
No, okay.
And combined with that was that SoFurry, I forgot the new name that he uses now, Kaki Doggy. His name back then was SoFurry, and he basically approached me and said, look, I have this idea for a site called SoFurry. Why don't we build that? And this turned into, why don't we switch to that? Why don't we turn YivStar into SoFurry and make it, make it grow beyond the adult?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, way back when, that was always sort of the thing that was associated with YivStar, obviously because it was almost purely adult.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that it would be a bit of an issue for some people putting their stuff online for something that has, well, I wouldn't say that connotation, but I mean, yeah, it's weird to not be able to host everything sort of at the same place, I believe. Only half your content on one side and everything else on the other side.
It's really difficult to fight preconceived notions or such connotations. And quite frankly, we are still fighting that in a sense because at the moment most people know SoFurry for the stories, and if you post stories, you post it on SoFurry, which is great, but that's not really all, right? So there's a lot of other stuff there. It's there is a really powerful search that works really well with all kinds of submissions. There is a really nice gallery and a lot of artwork, a lot of photography for that matter.
Oh, okay.
Which is separate from artwork. And we do have quite an active community of artists, quite an active community of photographers. And I know that most people don't know this, and it's really difficult to get over this image of, it's just a story site.
Yeah, I can. Rebranding is always difficult, especially if you've been hosting something for so long under the same sort of under the same premise.
Yeah.
Right. Ivik, anything from your side?
Well, one of the questions that I sort of want to ask is, I mean, and again, obviously it must be difficult to be able to sort of keep specific things in specific ways. I mean, it is actually nice to have an area that is still very, very story-centric. And, because, I mean, obviously there are a lot of writers and poets and people out there who tend to feel as though the people who are doing all the artwork get all the praise. I mean, if you, say, draw a silly OC of pretty much an easy character to draw, then that gets far more attention than, say, a person who wrote a story.
Yeah, even like a long,
what's
heartfelt
like
story. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a simple reason for that. It's easier to consume. It's really easy to consume a picture, and it's really easy to consume a lot of pictures. But you can't really, I mean, honestly, you can't really read more than, I don't know, 2 or 3 stories in one go. And then you have to take a break.
Yeah.
Especially if it's longer stories, then maybe it's just one story. So one of the most important things for me was always that regardless of, when we switched to SoFurry 1.0, when we switched to SoFurry 2.0, and the same for SoFurry 3.0, stories are more than just a thumbnail. And that's really what always gets me on, on other sites. It's, you upload a story and it's a thumbnail. And that's really difficult. It doesn't really pop out, let's say.
Yeah. And it's not representative of the artwork that's being posted. It's just like you can put a completely different image there, and that just a completely different thumbnail there, and it doesn't convey or wouldn't necessarily convey the same thing that the story is trying to say.
Yes. And for a picture, you just put a thumbnail, and that usually works.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're trying to do is we try to, well, you can't fix it, obviously. I mean, there is no perfect solution, but we try to at least give stories a bit more front page time, a bit more screen space, and make it more interesting to, you know, to click on stories.
Yeah, and present them in the medium that they are actually supposed to be presented in the quote-unquote thumbnail. Like, give them a little bit
which
of
is
text. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. And most of the time, if you look at a story title and you look at the first line of description and maybe the tags, you get a good feeling for, you know, is this just some guy writing, or whoever writing just something and just slapping it together, or did he put some thought into it?
Yeah,
Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the writing style usually pops quickly. You can tell if this is your kind of thing.
What's it? Yeah, I mean, if you like, I think if I can't, I should be able to recall this properly, but I believe Contrast, one of our South African writers, he's a bat, recently actually got featured on your front page. He was quite happy about it. So, not sure how exactly does that happen? How do you choose what goes on the featured and what doesn't?
Magic.
Yeah,
Magic.
it's a back-end magic.
It's a completely subjective thing, the featuring. We have a couple people which are not staff members, I have to say. Some of them are ambassadors, but most of the time I'm looking for people who just, you know, are really active on the site and read a lot of stories. And they basically go back in time and look for stories that have, you know, have fallen off the front page, basically, and stories that they feel deserve a bit more time in the light, so to speak.
Okay.
And it's really difficult because it's really subjective, and I make no qualms about that. I don't claim that this is, you know, we do the best job of highlighting only the best stories and stuff like that. It's what's the best story, right? But we try. Yeah. We try to put stories on the front page that we feel are really good and deserve to be on the front page, and B, are not necessarily from somebody that a lot of people know about yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which kind of fixes the catch-22. If you're new to a site and you don't have a lot of watchers, you post something and nobody sees it, so you don't get a lot of watchers.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually really good. Just making sure that the exposure is more geared towards people who don't have a lot of exposure already.
Let's go.
No, I'm done. I think you might be lagging on the voice a bit.
Well, because one of the questions that I want to ask is that, like, a lot of these people tend to move towards Patreon and things like that, and I'm wondering, does that in any way sort of either negatively, does it positively affect your website? What exactly does that do for you? Is he alive?
No, he is.
It's. Okay. I think it's perfectly okay. I mean, everybody has to decide for themselves what they want to do with the stories or artwork or whatever. I'm a bit concerned about Patreon in particular because, as it turns out, Patreon is quite insecure, and I'm not really happy with the way they've been handling things. Aside from that, I think it's perfectly fine. Artists or writers that want to, exclusively do their work for money and all that, I think that's perfectly fine. Why not? There's always going to be somebody, or people who are not well known yet, maybe, who need some exposure, and they can't just go on Patreon, for example. And there's always a good number of people like Kyle, for example, who are very active on getting their books published and all that, but they still write because they enjoy writing, or they still draw and upload because they just can't stop drawing.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's perfectly. I think it's perfectly fair to say that any artist is, any artist is has the right to put their stuff up for sort of for sale or for compensation, because it still is like the act of creating it is something that should be worth money at some point to someone.
Yeah. And the thing
thing
to keep in mind is we're not competing with Patreon. I mean, we're not really competing with anyone, if you're honest about it, because we're not really doing that for ad impressions or page views or anything like that. If we wanted to do this, then the site would look a lot different.
Yeah, no, fair point.
Yeah. I mean, Patreon does help content creators as far as it goes to sort of get people to begin to start paying for the content and things like that. But I mean, the general question is always going to be, when you're on Patreon and things like that, do you then sort of take all of your work away from the places that have hosted you for, say, the past 2, 3, 4 years, and now you've become famous, and then, okay, well, screw the site that I was working with. I mean, do you feel that there are people who generally sort of have this idea that, what's the word, loyalty is a useless concept?
There are different people. There are people who feel that loyalty is a good thing, or that they feel some kind of loyalty, which is nice. There are people who feel exactly the opposite way. At the end of the day, I mean, if somebody wants to take their stuff and leave, right? I mean, even if you were to disagree, which I don't, but even if I did, what point would it have? I mean, if he wants to leave, you can't stop him, and you shouldn't stop him.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
And if honestly, if a person comes back, like leaves for maybe a different site, or starts doing exclusively Patreon stuff, and then suddenly starts uploading stuff again, I mean, that's nice too.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously, SoFurry and SoFurry have been around for a very, very long time. I mean, 2009 for SoFurry, and I mean, like, if we look at sort of the, is there sort of like a friendly competition? I guess you probably wouldn't call it a competition, but I mean, like, is there sort of any kind of, like, I mean, obviously, I'm sure that you speak to the people from the other sites as well, and you say, hey, how are you guys doing? And they say, oh, well, we got 1,000 new subscribers in the past 3 months, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I mean, you guys probably do speak a lot, right?
I wish we'd speak more, to be perfectly honest. I used to have quite a good contact to the guys at Ink Bunny. There was some contact to people on FA, on the staff of FA. Aside from that, I mean, it's difficult. There were some times when there were a lot of attacks happening on furry sites in general, and I kind of sort of missed the will to work together. I wish that would work a little bit better.
Yeah. Like, with regards to the other sites, is it? I wouldn't really call it so much competition, at least in my mind. Like, the competition for artists, because I mean, it's not a finite resource. Like, everyone can post everything everywhere if they wanted to, but I suppose it becomes a question of competing for the clients, for the people who are, or the what's his name, the viewers.
Before I answer that, before I answer that, I should probably mention, because I said, I wish there was more collaboration and working together. I should say that Dragoneer has been donating, I think it was $2,000 to SoFurry
Oh wow.
out of the blue, and it was like, wow. I mean, they were collecting donations for their for Affinity, and he basically donated a certain amount to SoFurry, and that was really awesome. And he didn't have to do this. I later read some conspiracy theories of people like, oh, they're in cahoots together, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. It's shitty that these days, like, doing something nice is always attributed to an ulterior motive, but yeah,
Oh, yeah.
whatever. What are you gonna do? The internet's gonna
but
go
that's
mad regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the nature of consumer sports, I guess. I mean, you give money to, say, Hillary Clinton, and suddenly you're collaborating with her as as say, a non-Republican or a Democrat or whatever the hell. So I mean, like, it just happens. As soon as people consume things and they think that they know what the hell's going on in an area, they think, hey, cool, these people are doing that. Oh, traitors.
So, like, way back when, with the start of Yifstar, what was the drive? What was your, like, reason for starting up something like that?
Oh, that's really easy. That's quick and easy to tell. I was looking at godfox.com. I don't even know if that site still exists. Let me check.
It's like Godfox.
gotfox.com. It doesn't seem to exist anymore. So basically, I was looking around for a story archive because I noticed that Mia Vir's story archive, which used to be pretty much the go-to back then, wasn't really updated anymore, and like got one update every year.
Wow.
And there was another story archive which was also hand updated, and I contacted the guy who ran one of the guys who ran godfox.com, and he basically said, yeah, he'd love to have me help there or renew the site or do something or whatever, but he couldn't for a multitude of reasons. So basically, I started my own. And that was really the reason. Was I wanted a site where I can search for a story and where I can upload a story and I don't have to mail it in.
Oh yeah. So all of the story archives before that, or at least the ones that you were sort of frequenting or basing your decisions off of, were all like mail-in, hand-selected kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Ugh.
At least the furry ones. The
Okay.
furry ones.
Okay, that makes sense. That sounds so archaic now. Like listening to that.
And I mean, like, you've been around since 1997, so I mean, you've seen a whole bunch of furry sites sort of come and go. I mean, VCL being one of them. I mean, and do you?
But VCL is still up, right?
Yeah, but like.
Yeah, no, I mean, come and go, but I mean, like, the VCL hasn't gone as per se, but I mean, the thing is that it's not as well used, I guess,
Yeah,
as
very little
say
people still
both
use it.
SoFurry, Ink Bunny, and Fur Affinity.
Yeah, for sure, but I mean,
Yeah, it's an old format.
And-
It was great back in the day, but formats change, and you have to move with the times, or else, basically.
yeah, users are becoming a lot more
I
demanding
mean, like-
these days.
So, yeah, very demanding. One of the things that I do want to ask is that when a site sort of, I guess, quote unquote, dies, and I mean, you say that you've got a lot of people who are working with you. When those sites sort of go down and things like that, do you give them, do you sort of approach them and go, okay, cool, look, I mean, I understand that this may have happened. Would you like to help me, or would you like to? Have you ever? Do you guys sort of actively do that?
I honestly didn't have the chance, to be honest. I think the last site that really, well, there were two sites that died, basically. One was for Nation, and it's back up, but it's not the same anymore. And the other was, I forgot the name, to be honest. There was some other site. They were actually the first to advertise that users could add tags to submissions.
Okay.
I honestly don't recall the name, but no, we didn't approach these people and asked for them to join. Usually, when we look for moderators, we look in the community that we have. We have a nice progression system with you can become a helper, and then you can become an ambassador, and we usually recruit moderators from those two pools.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
like hiring from the inside.
Yeah, I mean, for moderation that works really well, and for coders, there is a lot of good coders out there. You just have to ask, and it's so far I've never been disappointed, with the amount of feedback.
Okay.
Yeah. Buglish asks, how much focus was put on your site for mobile access with regards to layout and size of content?
Oh yeah, I just saw that. Shall I answer in voice or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so SoFurry 3.0 is completely responsive. It's not a it's not a mobile version of a site or anything like that. It's just one version of the site, and yeah, it's a very big focus for us. It's a very big focus. The important thing to note is that we don't want the site to look like a mobile site if you browse on a PC. So we're also putting a lot of effort in that, which is part of the reason why it takes so long, because it took us quite some time to find our way, basically. I think we have really good progress, and I hope that we can start a public beta pretty soon.
Oh, sweet. I mean, your mobile access has always been been quite a thing, especially like, yeah, I remember browsing it on my phone quite often way back when. The optimizations, obviously, like these days with responsive pages, it becomes a lot easier, I would imagine. But was there any focus on mobile access like way back when in like SoFurry 102? Or
we actually had a mobile layout on Yivstar. Believe it or not.
Wow.
It was using I think it was an Apple toolkit back then, before they had an SDK, before you could actually make apps for the iPhone.
Nice.
But yeah, SF1 was, well, quite hard to use on a phone. SF2, actually, I mean, it works, but it's not a responsive site. So that's definitely, and also, I mean, quite frankly, the each time we iterate over the site, the code becomes a lot cleaner, a lot smaller.
Yeah. God, yeah, no, I want to get into coding stories, but I think that's just going to take up too much of my time. I mean, it's always nice to be able to go back into your code and say, like, okay, this is sort of useful to me. Let's strip this out and make this cleaner. Oh my God, who wrote this? How long ago?
Oh,
yeah.
It was you.
No, there's so many. Dude, coding horror stories, ugh. Go back ages.
Now, speaking, there's a small conversation or a little exchange that have been going on in respect to social media, where Bird says the content categorization sites alone don't just cut it anymore. regardless of the interest behind it. Rakuin then also responds by saying that, social media isn't necessarily the best medium, and it's not designed for long-term use. How would you sort of approach the entire idea that social media is sort of taking over, to an extent, that medium?
I think Bird hits the nail on the head, quite frankly. It's like how should I put it? I drive an electric car since about a month, and I know I'll never go back to a gasoline car. And I completely agree with Elon Musk when he says that 20 years from now, car companies are either doing electric cars for real, or they go bust. And I think a similar thing is going to happen with furry websites. Let's put it this way. If we're talking about art websites and that kind of thing, it needs to do more than just be a gallery. It needs to do more and be easy to use. And by easier to use, I mean, when I want to upload 20 pictures, I just want to drag them on the browser window. Done.
Yeah.
That's basically
Tumblr
the
style.
level of work that I'm talking about.
That is the dream.
Well, we might have something for that.
Yeah. There's an app for that.
Yeah, there's a toolkit for that
Rakuin
somewhere.
Rakuin says that apparently that'll be a sad day for websites. I would also disagree with that perspective. Toumal, you go for it.
I don't take it this way. Don't take it the way that you're not going to be able to, post comments and all that. It's just going to be a lot easier. And I think, first of all, maybe you've noticed, I mean, if you're a coder, you've probably noticed if you go to GitHub or, sites like that, you don't have to create an account there anymore. You log in with your Google account. You log in with your GitHub account. So cross-site authentication is a big thing. When you post something, you have the option of cross-posting it to different sites. That's another big thing. So I think in the going down the line, sites that have a lot of cross-site functionality and are easy to use and look beautiful are going to be the ones that that people will use.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point.
And SoFurry 2.0 is not that site, not yet. I have to point that out.
Okay, well that'll be interesting because I mean, it's actually like, and I agree with a perspective like that specifically because, I mean, if you look at, say, if you wanted to post something onto Tumblr and then you had a link for, say, SoFurry or something like that, then you'd be able to just cross towards that and say, hey, look, I mean, here's a place for me to archive my art. Here's a place for me to show it to the world at large.
Yeah, but Tumblr isn't really geared towards artists, if you're honest about it, because I mean, look at the site, and yeah, I mean, really, I mean, it's like a gallery that you can browse or something like that. Not really, right? I mean, it's a different thing. Also, there is quite some restrictions on the content that's allowed, so there is that. I think the way forward for SoFurry, of course, is 3.0 with a responsive interface with certain key innovations, when you upload and all that. And as a side project, I'm working with a separate team on a new site that has a slightly different aim, let's say.
Okay.
I don't know if Ivik knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Should I go into that yet, or?
I don't know. Like, if you want to spill the beans, I suppose. But I mean, that's up to you guys.
Yeah, if you're more than willing to talk about it, we're more than willing to listen.
Okay, so basically the key problem that a lot of artists have told me when I asked them is they don't have time for 3 sites or 4 sites, right? So basically, they go to FA because it's FA. It's the biggest site with the biggest amount of potential audience. And then maybe they post it on Twitter because there's a lot of people on Twitter. And maybe they post it on Tumblr because they really like, how you upload on Tumblr because it's really easy. What we are building is a site called Critter, and that site is completely separate from SoFurry. It's an artwork-only site. It's its own gallery. It's its own place on the web that you can build yourself a home at. And the key thing with Critter is when you upload to Critter, you're basically done. You can basically tell the site to upload for you on all the places that you're on.
Ooh, wow.
No, I mean, when it comes to cross uploading and everything like that, do you need to get permission from somebody like Fur Affinity to be able to do that, or would that only be for, say, when you upload there, do you just upload to SoFurry?
It depends. I mean, what we do is for sites that have an API, obviously those sites want their API to be used, and normally that's not a problem. When it's a site that doesn't have an API, it's really up to the artist, right? I mean, it's their artwork that they want to upload. It's not like you're taking something away from another place. You're actually putting something there. The key thing we have to, that we will tell people is this is a convenience feature. So the moment that you abuse it, first of all, we can ban you from using it. And second of all, the other sites can ban you, right? So if you start misusing that, you get yourself into trouble really, really fast.
Yeah, there's like 5 ban hammers waiting for you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So it's like, I mean, that's the one thing, and the second thing is, obviously, security for sites that don't have a cross-site authentication, OpenAuth, OpenID, or something like that. You have to ask the user for the password.
Yeah.
And that's really problematic because if somebody breaks into the site, they might actually have access to the servers while people are using the feature.
Yeah.
Right. So what we do is we tell people, look, this is a risk because things can happen. We do our best that it doesn't happen, but it could. If you want to use it, you have the choice to store the password for a set amount of time, or store it for just a day, or don't store it at all. And if you're not comfortable with using that, don't use it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about as much, as much convenience mixed with security responsibility that you can give for a site like that. I mean, if there's no OAuth and no token swapping going on, then I mean, obviously it's a big risk for you guys to just say keep a bunch of the passwords on server.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. The thing to keep in mind is this really helps a lot of sites. It doesn't really just help SoFurry or something like that, because we're not putting in defaults, right? So if you register there, you're not automatically registered on SoFurry or something like that. It's really a complete separate site, separate staff, a separate set of people working on that. I mean, there is some overlap, but still. And what was I gonna say? Interesting. Lost my train of thought. Sorry.
That's fine.
No worries. That happens to everybody, especially me. One of the things that I was that I sort of find interesting is, we kind of spoke a little bit about the ban hammer and everything like that. I mean, obviously everybody has a set of rules and everything like that, but when somebody is, say, pissing you off directly, how do you tend to, as a person, and I mean this is sort of like a question of general interest, because I mean there's a lot of people out there who do have either moderator status or admin status and things like that. Like when somebody is pissing you off directly, do you then sort of remove yourself from the problem itself and then go, okay, cool, look, this is happening. If I act, this is going to happen. Tell me whether I'm going to be acting correctly in doing so. Or do you follow rules almost immediately and never let emotion get in your way?
Well, I try not to let emotion get into the way. I think I have an okay track record, I hope. I mean, I had people make fun of the fact that my father died when that happened a couple years ago.
Wow.
So yeah, it happens.
The internet is full of dicks.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
So, but the cool thing is, if something like this happens, or I feel that somebody thinks that I'm personally involved or emotionally involved or something like that, even if I'm not, I can always fall back to my moderators and basically ask for help. And that works vice versa, I mean, just yesterday we had a case where a moderator basically asked for backup just to make sure that claims of personal vendettas don't come up. And yeah, of course they came up.
Yeah. But, and I mean, like, it's very easy for a person who feels threatened, quote unquote, to lie about the fact that, oh no, but he's had it in for me for the past year, blah, 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 blah. But then again, like, you can immediately go back and say, well, I mean, I let it slide for a year, now I'm taking action.
Yeah, not to report the old Spider-Man quote, but if you're gonna, with great power comes great responsibility. If you're gonna be a moderator, then you need to know how to wield that power.
I'm engineer. I remember that quote differently. I think it was, with great power comes great heat sinks.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, engineer as well. So yeah, I feel you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, like, and as a person who is running a site like that and allowing, or like, giving a space for people to give content and everything like that, I mean, and it's interesting to think that the people who are behind the content creator sites generally tend to sort of stay in the shadows. I mean, obviously Dragoneer is out there, but I think that's sort of more part and parcel to the fact that FAF exists as well. So, I mean, there is a public forum for him to speak in as well. Do you have a similar thing on SoFurry?
We don't have a con. We're not that big.
FAF is the forums. FAU is the con.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the con.
The forums.
No, I mean, the thing is, I was at Eurofurence a couple times. We had a booth there. We did some free scanning service. We sold some T-shirts. We handed out pins to people. But yeah, I don't need to be the public face, in real life.
And I mean, like, it's probably easier to not be in public sight as much as possible. I mean, like, just to stroke an ego here, Raccoon obviously sort of told me about you. And the thing is that, like, obviously I didn't necessarily know who you were until he mentioned me mentioned you to me. And like, the thing is that it's something like that kind of sort of goes by the wayside. I mean, like, at the end of the day, when one thinks about it, you're a very, very, I don't know, like, it's the stuff that you do it helps people.
Yeah, I mean being not being the public face of something.
2 out of 3.
Yeah, not being the public face of something doesn't necessarily like mean that someone I think is just shying away from the limelight. It's just like that work is still appreciated though, despite like the praise not necessarily going to one person or the other. Like, yeah. At least that's what I think.
Thank you, I guess.
No, I mean, you put in a lot of hard work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the danger is that one person gets pushed into the spotlight, and the other persons who are basically doing much of the work or most of the work don't get that treatment. So for that matter alone, I'm quite fine the way it is. I don't have to put my face out there. That's perfectly all right. The thing that's important to me is that people, at least feel that they can contact me and just poke me on Skype or something like that.
Yeah.
Like we did with you, poke.
Kind of, yeah.
More or less, yeah.
I got a note.
From whom?
Because I mean, like the thing is that, and that's again, like I mean, that's sort of generally the purpose of this site of our podcast as well, is that we get to speak to people like you, because the thing is that we think that for the work that you do, you deserve a little bit of praise every now and again, I guess. I mean, and
Thank you.
It's always wonderful to speak to people who are behind this, just to like get other people to sort of sit down and go, okay, well, we understand this a little bit better now. We'll probably try to troll you less.
Oh,
Well, I'm still waiting for the trolling questions.
yeah.
Oh yes, well, have you been trolled? Silly, but yeah, have you ever been trolled?
Like,
Have I been trolled? It's interesting.
well,
I mean, it depends on what you define as trolling.
okay. I'm gonna like change the tack a little bit.
Oh, wait. Somebody put me on Encyclopedia Dramatica, and I'm listed as one of the famous Austrians next to Hitler and Josef Fritzl. So there's that.
Yeesh. Okay.
Which
Have
is
you
fine. I mean,
started
it
your
could be
video?
worse. Sorry?
Have you started your army yet?
Ah, dude.
Yeah, right.
Army of angry furries going. "Argh."
I don't necessarily think anyone wants to be in the same sentence. Wants their name said in the same sentence as Hitler. To be dead honest.
But honestly, there are a lot more people. Like it's Encyclopedia Dramatica. That just happens.
Exactly.
Fair point. The Encyclopedia Dramatica entry for Cape Town's kind of funny.
Is it?
Yeah, like basically the city was founded by Batman, and the reason why it's called Cape Town is because of the like mandatory the rule mandating people wearing capes.
No capes.
Yeah, no capes in Cape Town. But yeah.
Well, I mean that explains it, since the wind is so.
Yeah, jeez, the wind will strangle people if they wear capes here.
That actually reminds me of the bat metal. The first video where he's like talking about how tough he is, and one point his cape just like flies over his face.
Yeah, that's a weird thing, but still funny.
Bat metal's awesome.
How frequently do you have to bat away DDoSs? Like
That was a question that I wanted to ask. Yes.
Or attacks on the website in
had-
any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, we had 3 big waves, basically. The first wave was a couple years ago. The second wave was about 2 years ago. And then last year, pretty much around the same time. So it's like end of November, December, January.
So
That was a
essentially when
massive-
everybody has time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, I was on IRC in the Lizard Squad channel, and I actually watched somebody pay bitcoins to the tune of $130 US.
Oof.
just to get us attacked.
Why? Like, what?
That's an interesting question because I mean,
Yeah, I know the answer. It's for the lulz.
I'm not
I
even
don't
sure
know.
if it's that.
I don't know. I can't, I can't even speculate. But I know what I saw, and it's a bit disconcerting. That's it.
Because I mean, it's funny that we talk about DDoS, but I mean, like last weekend, things happened to, like the other site that we sort of go onto, Furry FM, where almost like 5 minutes after our podcast, the exact same thing happened. And I mean, is it that these people are out to? Is it just furry sites that get DDoSs, or have you heard of other places that actually also get DDoS because they fall into, OMG, these people all suck kind of thing? Like, is there anybody
well,
else who's ever had that?
Back when the whole lulz thing happened 2 years ago, it was a lot of sites that got attacked, and the furry thing was basically just lol furries, and they get attacked.
Yeah.
Last year, that was very pointed, and that was very directed, and it took us down for quite some time, and we basically had to change our infrastructure quite significantly, and it's a lot it's actually a lot harder for us because we can't just take the cheapest Cloudflare plan and hide behind them because we have user subdomains.
Oh, okay.
Right, so your profile is yourname.sofurry.com,
Ugh.
and that makes it a lot more difficult to deal with that.
Yeah, from a design perspective.
Well,
Now,
from a price perspective.
Yeah, that too. Now, Barsor from the Furry FM, furry.fm site actually asks, and I mean, I know that it might be sort of covering the same stuff that we did a little bit earlier, but they ask, what are your plans for the future of SoFurry again? Just to let us know. I mean, like, where do you see that we're going? Where are you going with it?
Well, obviously, SoFurry 3.0. There's some really cool stuff that we're doing. You love what Jason has been doing with the user profiles. It's really quite something. The thing that we're working on right now is the uploader. We have a really beautiful gallery, both for stories and for artwork. And no, stories are not just thumbnails. So, there's a lot of stuff happening under the hood. We can finally do stuff with color theming, having different color themes and all that. We won't be able to at launch. We won't do that at when the beta starts, but it's definitely something we want to do, especially because a lot of people are used to the to the bright theme now, and we have switched to a darker theme. And I know that a lot of people will love that, and I know a lot of people won't love that. So we'll have an option for that. And beyond that, there is first of all there is Critter, which happens in parallel, but that's artwork only, and that's also going to benefit SoFurry as well as other sites in the process. And there are other things coming. So we're definitely let's say I'm not happy with the marketplace that we have right now, and we're definitely gonna do something there.
Yeah, Barca has a follow-up in respect to that. Where do you see the project in 5 years?
Oof.
What is this, a job interview?
Yes.
Yeah. Am I high? Well, my goal, to be perfectly honest, my goal is to be there for the community that we have. And I would really love for SoFurry to be there 5 years down the line. First and foremost, be there and not require people to pay for stuff. because that's personally, I think that's one of the things that I kind of sort of feel threaten the fandom.
Yeah,
let's say.
I mean, if it's any indication, the whole Imbu buyout from.
I don't mean that specifically.
Okay.
I have to say that. The thing is, and you have to keep that in mind. I mean, you can use FA and you don't have to pay a dime,
Yeah,
right?
fair point.
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I mean, oh, you want more than, you want to search more than a year back in the past? Insert coin.
Ugh.
That kind of thing.
Ugh.
That kind of thing. And I hope that regardless of, what the site name is and who runs it, I hope we'll always have websites that are, have a decent catalog, that are well maintained, and where I can just search for whatever, right? Or I can upload more than 10 pictures before I have to get a premium account or something like that.
The word premium account already just gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. Now,
it can be fine. It can be fine. You can have like premium accounts. I think PlanetSide 2 is a good example. You can play the game. You're not gimped, let's say. You don't get special ammo if you pay. So you can do it properly. I'm not saying if a website does premium accounts in the future, that is definitely a bad thing. It can be okay. But if it's stuff like, basic things like search back more than a year, for me, that's a basic thing. That should be free.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Then we're getting down into like the science of microtransactions. Like what constitutes something that's worth $1, and that is the completely different kettle of fish. Okay. Rant over.
Yay, ranting! Woo. Now, I'm pretty sure that like everybody doesn't just want to hear about, YIFStar, SoFurry, projects. Maybe a little bit about you. As you were mentioning before the chat, you're a very avid RC airplane.
Fish.
Yeah.
Eh?
Aficionado.
Yeah. So I mean, which kinds of planes do you like? Props, or do you like jets, or what do you enjoy the most?
I enjoy everything. My brother got me into this hobby, and he's been doing it for I think 30 years or something. And everything. I mean, sailplanes, jets, electrics, what have you.
Helicopters?
Helicopters, multicopters. I even do my, little bit of coding on my own.
Yeah, I've seen the tricks that some of those people can do with the helicopters, and it is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not that good. I can fly TikToks. I can fly inverted with a helicopter, but I can't really, that crazy 3D stuff.
Yeah.
And you really love sushi?
Yes.
Would you eat it every day if you could?
Dude, who
I
wouldn't?
don't know.
He doesn't.
I don't know.
No, dude, I love it.
I mean, there is pasta and pizza and, these kind of things.
There's a sushi place nearby that I'm like, I love it. One of those conveyor belt majiggers where you sit down next to the thing and just take whatever comes by.
Oh yeah, all you can eat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And then all you can pay.
no, you pay once.
Oh well.
Yeah,
Not true. Understood. Oh, a little bit of a funny story from the other side, from Furry FM's little chat area. Raccoon has just been mistaken as a woman. I find this to be slightly hilarious.
No need to be a dick about it, Ivik.
No. I am not being a dick. I'm just pointing it out. And you also like ham radio.
Yes.
Yes.
What? Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to give everybody your tag, but
I hope people understand that I don't broadcast that on this channel because I do like to keep these things separate. But yes, I'm a licensed ham radio operator. I don't know what the name is because it's the license names are different here, but it's like the big license where I can do shortwave and everything.
Oh, what's the draw to the whole ham radio thing? I've never really yeah. I guess I don't understand enough of it to understand the draw.
Two things.
Mhm.
First of all, you can, if I give you a phone and I tell you, hey, call somebody on the other side of the world,
Mhm.
you're going to give me a puzzling look because, yes, you can call somebody on the other side of the world, but why should he answer, first of all? And maybe you don't know anybody there.
Okay.
With ham radio, you can just do that
Oh,
and somebody
okay.
will answer. That's one thing. And you don't know who it is. It could be like a king,
No.
like an honest-to-God king. Or it could be the International Space Station, which is point two. You can take a little handheld and a little antenna, and if you know when to talk, you can actually talk to the ISS and
Wow.
talk to the people there.
What?
The ISS,
The International Space Station.
Oh, okay.
Not ISIS.
Or
I was
there are
about to
things
say.
like there are things like an old satellite with a broken battery, but every now and then the solar panels have the right angle to the sun, and then you can send stuff to that satellite and send commands and actually tell it to do things and record messages and play them back and stuff like that.
That is bitchin'.
Wow.
That is
I
so
would love
cool.
to speak to ISS.
Yeah. Oh my word. That sounds okay. That sells it to me. That's actually really cool.
Okay, by the way, next project for south-afrifur is finding a way to speak to somebody on ISS. Just for the lols.
Yeah, just like hello, like Houston, whatever. Like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who's up there at the moment? What's that guy, that Canadian guy who plays guitar? Is he still up there? What's his name?
No, he's back down.
Major. What's his name? Major something.
He's not Major Tom, if that's what you mean.
God damn it. Okay.
I forgot his
Major
name,
Tom.
but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, Major Tom is the song, right? Yeah.
He was singing that, yeah.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, I studied a little bit of high frequency, but it's Victor saying on the chat like don't like HF. I'm assuming is like high frequency or something like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Hatfield was his name.
Chris. Yes, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. He also brought like weed on board the space station for some reason. It's
What?
like, yeah, I think there was like this picture of him holding this enormous bag of weed. It's like technically not illegal because it's space. So
Space.
Nobody owns space yet.
yeah, nobody on space yet. Like,
Well, apparently, parts of the moon were sold to people already.
yeah, but there is
How can you
no
do that?
yeah,
I
there's
mean,
no
come on.
yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of treaties that actually say like no one technically owns anything in space just yet, and quite a lot
Just yet.
quite a lot of people.
I think
have
the
ratified
guy
that.
with the bigger plasma cannon is going to own it.
Yeah, but that's a case of the biggest stick always wins.
Your face is a big stick.
Whatever. It's been a while since you used that one, so I'll
It's
let
been
it
a while.
slide.
I mean, it's a throwback. Throwback Sunday.
Not a thing. Not going to be a thing.
Well, I can make it a thing.
Don't.
Speaking of which, Toumal, like, the entire idea of having as many people on there and things like that. I mean, like when you started realizing that Yivstar and SoFurry were becoming sort of, I guess one could say, staple names in the furry community. Like, how did you actually start feeling about that? Did you actually finally feel as though you'd achieved something? Was it about achievement at the end of the day? How do you measure that? How do you measure that your sites are actually doing what they need to do?
I measure it mostly with things like trouble tickets. when somebody has a problem, or locks himself out of his account, or stuff like that. And first of all, they care enough about this whole thing that they want to get it fixed. And when we fix it, and they show gratitude and say thanks and all that. I think that's what keeps. I know that keeps me going, and I know it keeps most of my staff going. And
So
most
it's about
of the
knowing
time,
that you can help.
yeah, I mean it's the little things, to be honest. Most of the time, people are really nice, and some of them are really talented, and we have some. For example, we have some great songs on SoFurry, and I wouldn't have heard those otherwise.
Oh, that's awesome. Has anybody ever dedicated a song to you? Actually, you know what? That's a nice question. From dedicating songs to you to declaring their undying love to you.
God damn it, dude. Why is there's like no middle ground? It's like, has someone sketched a picture for you? Nope. Has anyone like signed their life away to be your slave or something?
Well, that's a good question.
God damn it. It's not a good question. Anyway,
It's
sorry.
an awesome question.
Continue.
I don't know. I don't know if I feel comfortable answering that.
So, in essence, what you're telling me is that it has happened before, and that it was a very, very awkward moment in time.
I can neither deny nor confirm.
Fair, good, okay, I understand this. This is absolutely fine by me.
Can either deny or confirm that I actually have a slave living in my basement right now.
Scratch, I don't have a basement, but I'm pretty sure that I would be able to find a slave.
Yeah. You work fast.
I do. Tox asks, how much, in your opinion, has the fandom grown since you've joined in 1997? Be it both overall, in your experiences?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think we are still in the very early stages of this fandom. Think the furry fandom has the potential to really, honestly, I mean, it already kind of sort of is part of the mainstream. But it's still in the beginning. We're gonna see a much larger fandom down the road, and we're gonna see a much more varied fandom. I mean, difficult to say. I just think it's grown a lot. It's gonna grow still. It's gonna be interesting because already it's like if you're part of the fandom, it's like being part. Many people don't notice that. It's like being part of a secret organization or something, in some ways, because we sold out, man. Yeah,
Sold out.
Agent Fur.
it's you talk to somebody and you notice he's a furry, and suddenly you have something in common, and other people sit on the wayside and don't know why. It's a lot more powerful than people might think, and I think that trend will continue, basically.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what? I mean,
It's too late, Bird. Too late.
Rocket Dog doesn't necessarily say anything wrong. In fact, he actually says sort of something that is a common trend. Is the idea that there are specific people who would think that we are in fact selling out. I mean, you look at Imvu, you look at a lot of people moving towards Patreon, finding ways to monetize what they sort of give out and things like that. I mean, eventually, where does one draw the line?
You don't. It's not your place, and it's not my place to draw any lines.
No, that's fair.
If people wanna sell stuff and make a living, that's perfectly fine. If somebody wants to make a company that is self-sustaining and actually turns a profit, that's also fine. That in itself is not a bad thing. At the same time, I hope that we'll always have like a large portion of the fandom that is basically enjoyable for free,
Yeah.
let's say. And I think that will be the case because there's so many people and they all enjoy to write, to draw, to sing, to make music. I don't see that going away.
Yeah, I mean, the joy of creation is going to keep pulling people in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's not just creation of art and stories and things like that. It's the fact that like it puts us into a very, very interesting place. I mean, we were speaking about it last week with RK, is that I mean we we have a group of people who aren't just creating things for themselves. They're able to both aid and abet other people's. Which I wouldn't even go as far as fantasy. Just aid and abet people in the fact that they're able to express themselves. Yeah, definitely about expression. And that it's important that we're able to get as far as possible when it comes to expression. And if it's going to cost money for us to express ourselves and to show that, hey, we are, or we look like this, and this is the person who drew it, you know, pay the money and you can have the same thing happen to you. That's good. I like that. I like the fact that we're able to. I mean, it was said on when we had Kyle on. I mean, and much the same now. It's just that we have 3 different countries together at this specific point. For whatever reasons. I mean, like the thing is that you're from Austria, Bravura's from Switzerland, we're from South Africa, and the fact that we're able to begin to connect to one another is important.
Yeah.
Without any prejudice for each other's country at that, and that's also interesting. Is that the country line is beginning? We are the globalization, I think. It's like, I think, what was it? Did RK say that, or was it Kyle? That we're ahead of the curve.
Barbara says he's also from Austria. Yeah.
Oh.
So 2 then.
Nervous laugh.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of just like not having prejudice bullshit against one another, furries are definitely like ahead of the curve.
Toumal?
Yes. I don't know. I mean, I kind of sort of agree. At the same time, I hope that people making music, writing stories, doing artwork, drawing and all that, I think the most important thing for them is that they do what they enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I mean, you can make a living, that's fine. But as soon as it becomes work,
Yeah.
In the sense of, now I have to do this, then there is a problem.
Yeah.
And it's the same with basically everything. When I sit at work and I have to do something that I don't enjoy doing, that's probably not going to be the best I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
Even if I try, right? But if it's something that I really enjoy doing, then it's going to be something special.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the most important. It's more important than do you put it on Patreon or do you give it away for free? It's more important, do you do it because you enjoy doing it and you enjoy sharing it? Or
if you enjoy
are you
doing
trying...
it, why not ask money for it?
Exactly. Or do you do it because you're looking for, well... Attention, appreciation. The thing is, if you're looking for appreciation, it's always the danger of not getting it.
Mm-hmm. We know this all too well.
Yeah.
And I guess the same is true for SoFurry itself. I mean, if I just look at the numbers, I'm like, FA is this big and we are this big. And it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? We have about 30 to 40,000 active users on the site.
That's a lot of people.
Which is probably a lot less than on other sites. But the thing is, they are active on our side,
Yeah.
and those are the people that we work for. Not the maybe 5 million that are out there and that could potentially. No, I mean, yes, you're trying to get them in. You're trying to make things so they don't get turned away, or we have an ambassador program where new people are being greeted personally by people, and they can ask questions. If they have any problem, they can go to them. So there is practically always somebody there.
Yeah.
But that's, growth is not a means to an end.
Yeah. I mean, you can be the biggest group on Earth, but the thing is that you can still get, out of the 30 to 40,000 people on there, you can still get 20,000 people saying, I don't necessarily like what I'm doing here, but the thing is that it suits my needs. And frankly, whatever.
If that made sense, yeah.
No, but I mean, like, consider YouTube. I mean, what am I talking about? YouTube, but also YouTube, but Facebook. I mean, how many people complain about the entire sort of format of this and that? Oh no, there's no dislike button. Blah 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 blah. Complain, 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 complain. At the end of the day, you're still using it.
Well, except Facebook is maybe not a good example because, I mean, there is a reason why SoFurry doesn't have a Facebook presence. And we tried. And as it turns out, even if people are following you, it's not like on Twitter. If people follow you on Twitter, you can reach them. If you post something, they can see it. On Facebook, no. You have to pay money.
No, you're absolutely right. We actually do have a Facebook account, and I can tell you one thing, that it's the most...
What's the word I'm looking for? Dead as shit.
Yeah. Oh, you've reached 12 people out of the 50 people that follow you. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that's Facebook's monetization model. You're not going to change that by bitching.
No, boost your account. Make sure that it comes up, you pay $1 and it comes up to the top of all your followers.
No, I'm not boosting my account because I'm not making money with this.
You're losing money.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to make money if you have 10,000 followers or if you've got one.
Yeah. I mean, if it was for business, I'd understand, but this is like... Well, for us, it's sort of a mom-and-pop operation until, like, Furry FM came along.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer Twitter, specifically because, and this is strange for me to say, because I've always been an active, Scratch can attest to this, I don't like social media. It's not something, it feels almost conceited to say, oh, hey, we're doing this thing, listen, bitches.
Yeah. No, hell, I completely understand. Like, it's been, for me, I don't even like to use, like, I always use the passive tense when, even writing for my thesis. It's just like, I don't like saying, this is what I did, look. No, it's like, this was done. Who did it was irrelevant, because, quite frankly, I don't want to take the blame for it.
Yeah. I mean, now Rong Yao mentions the entirety of Google+. And I mean, we post on, well, at least I post heavily onto Google+, but then again, that's pretty much almost the only thing I do there, because there is a large amount of people who listen. Sometimes they follow, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they.
At least they see it, right?
Yeah, at least they see it. I mean, the thing is that, I mean, and recently I started doing that when we started doing the Tumblr thing. We got a cute little picture that goes with it as well. And the thing is that people respond to pictures. Like you said, it's nice and easy to, pick it up and go, ooh, I like this because of the picture, but fuck you if I'm going to listen to the podcast. And it's difficult. It's difficult to be able to sort of get out there and do that. I mean, like, we're all here, we're all creating content. Some content is just better than others.
Well, not necessarily better, definitely better, yeah, but some are also just
better received,
more easily consumed again.
And I mean, and that's sort of what we're talking about is that like you said, a story is not just it's not just a thumbnail. I mean, somebody obviously took a large amount of time, sometimes not as much time as you'd like them to, but they've come up with a concept that takes a photo and then creates the story around it, or not even just takes a photo, but the thing is that, yeah, great, a photo's worth 1,000 words, but who's writing the 1,000 words?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was deeper than I thought it would be.
Deep as shit, man.
So
But I mean, like, and I love the fact that your original focus was on stories, and that you don't seem to necessarily stray as far from the point, even with like your new projects, so that stories are just as important. I mean,
Well, with the new project, it's there are no stories.
no,
So
obvious,
it's artwork only. But again,
you-
it's a different thing.
it's a
It's
completely
a separate
different.
thing.
Yeah,
It's a completely different thing. People, artists who just want to use Critter, they can. If they want to use both Critter and one or more other sites, they can do that as well. The only thing we're going to ask for is, please, if you use Critter to upload, don't just upload and then delete it off Critter.
yeah,
Right? So that's like, you know. But yeah, I kind of sort of feel that stories have the tendency of falling on the wayside and basically being a bit a stepchild, I'd say.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the downside of this is that there are so many sites out there that don't have an actual editor, like an actual word processing thing. That it's actually become difficult to tell people about this, because we regularly have the problem that artists who may not be used to word processing and just use a text editor, or they use Word with certain settings, they don't know the difference between a new line and a paragraph.
yeah,
And I don't mean this, to haha, they don't know the difference. Honestly, if you don't look for it, you might not notice it. And then when you upload on SoFurry, people get certain results that might surprise them.
yeah,
But the thing is, like, okay, well, if you press return, you get a new paragraph. If you press shift return, you actually get a new line.
yeah.
And the rest is a display issue. The rest is something that the site will do for you. You don't have to format the story like manually if you do it correctly.
It's true. One of the things that I actually posted a link just now, which has to do with, I think it was by Jello Apocalypse, who pretty much does a whole bunch of things like welcome to Facebook, welcome to Vine, welcome to DeviantArt, welcome to, and the one that I posted there was specifically welcome to fan fiction. And it talks about Wattpad and all of those sort of very, what's the word, story-orientated sites, and the various problems that you would get from people who just decide, cool, I'm going to write here. And you have people who would write in English who are 12 years old. I mean, yes, they need the practice and they need the criticism, but at the end of the day, when somebody gives them bad criticism, or not positive anything, they tend to flip out, and you kind of sit there going like, you need that. You need to help yourself. So this criticism is valid, because I don't want a sentence that is going to turn itself into an absolute shit show.
yeah, but I mean, 12-year-olds, dude.
Still, you can find some really good 12-year-old writers.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I think there is a wide spectrum of people. There is, as you said, I mean, there is people who just look for the positive feedback, and positive feedback only. There are people who are actually looking for constructive feedback, even if it's negative.
Yeah.
There are people who upload stuff on whatever site, basically saying when they upload, if you have negative feedback or criticism, don't post it.
Yeah.
On one hand, it's like, well, why do you upload it on a place that can let people comment?
Yeah, not to mention one that can be very, very angry at times.
I don't think there is a single answer to that.
Anyway, we are coming to the close of our content. Once again, Toumal, we really want to thank you very, very much for listening to listening to us talk to you and your site.
And for replying to us about us talking about you.
You
Or something.
Yeah.
and those things, yes. But yeah, I mean, like we really, really appreciate having you on the podcast. We'd love to have you again. We extend a similar invitation to everybody. And the thing is that it's always wonderful to be able to listen to the people who are you're so heavily involved.
Am I?
Yes.
I don't feel like it.
We can involve you more, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Find a way. Um, and yeah, no, I mean, like we really appreciate you being on here. And like I said, if you ever want to come on again, or if you have anything new that you want to tell us, or if you just want to talk to us about absolutely nothing for an entire hour and a half period,
Yeah.
hit me up. Always willing to listen.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Just a couple of interesting things. Furry FM people, Furry FM listeners, just note that there is an open broadcast that starts after our show. Everyone who wants to be a moderator can be. So in other words, you're able to then post your own songs, and then those songs will be played. And yeah, we'd be able to. We're more than welcome to sort of plug that sort of thing. Is that like so? If you are listening from Furry FM and you want to hear your own music, please, stick around, have a listen, and figure out what you really want to listen to. I tend to like posting Queen songs. Doge, who is sitting with me in my studio, likes to listen to
What?
anything. Scratch,
Hmm?
drum and bass.
No, man. Like, my my listening cues become weird. So like it ranges from anything from jazz to like EDM kind of stuff.
Okay.
You know,
And
more metal
Toumal,
stuff.
favorite music style? I know what
Oh.
it is.
I have so many. Well, everything from jazz to classic to electronica. I don't know. Poulon. I could really recommend some Poulon if you want classic. Otherwise, Pat Metheny, jazz.
And wow, jazz actually sounds like a good idea.
No,
Bravura, get that jazz going. Okay, we'd also like to thank our fans from the first stream side. Raccoon, Bird, Tox, Rocket Dog, Rong Yao, Baldemir, Kai, and Victor. Thank you very much for listening. Obviously, we can't necessarily see everybody who's actually listening from both sides, but for those of you listening from Furry FM, those of you listening from First Stream, we really, really appreciate your support. We appreciate the idea that you guys are having a listen. For those of you who have contributed to the conversation, thank you again. And yeah, I mean, we're going to be on next week, Sunday again. And obviously, if you want to follow us, we are on Tumblr, we are on Twitter. Just look for south-afrifur, south-afrifur, and then south-afrifur, I think without the dash on Twitter. There is a Facebook site. However, you've heard our position in respect to that. Also, on Google+, have a look for Ivik_Wolf. I tend to post a lot of that stuff on that site for anybody else who misses out on either Twitter or Tumblr. So yeah, you'll probably be able to listen to us or hear who our new guest is, hopefully by Wednesday. I have been late before. But yeah, have a listen, figure out, and also, please, comments, criticism, anything
Constructive
along
or
the line.
otherwise.
Yes. let us know if you want to have a specific guest that you know would probably be able to join us. Don't be
President
afraid to let
Obama,
us know.
please.
President Obama. Okay, great. I will make sure that I ensure that I get his phone number somehow.
Yeah.
I'll get him on Skype too, apparently, and maybe we can talk about ISIS.
God damn it.
Anyway, thank you guys all for listening. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the evening. And once again, have a listen to Furry FM. They've got open broadcast. Go to their group chat. It's furry.fm. And give your song choices. Speak to Bravura. He's an awesome guy. Also recently found out that he's also from Austria. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah.
From my side, goodbye. Scratch.
Yeah, cheers, guys. See you all next week.
Toumal.
Goodbye.